The volunteer fire system is celebrating 50 years in Daviess County, but a shortfall in funding is straining the system and threatening the future of many departments. Jeremy Smith is the chief of the Daviess County Fire Department.
Now, with this large increase over the last 2 to 3 years with buying of trucks, equipment, and things like that, it's really started to hit home.
Currently, the volunteer departments are funded by membership dues that were placed on property tax bills in 2003. The dues are fixed, meaning there is no natural growth factor to account for inflation or increased expenses. The only way for the funding to increase for any station is for additional homes to be built within the response area.
What we've realized is there are certain districts that are growing that we have. So like your Thrushton area, Masonville, Sargo have really grown and added a lot of new homes. But some of our areas, like out in the Stanley area, out in Yelvington, Knoxville, they haven't been able to grow as much in those more rural areas, which has really begun to impede them on purchasing equipment.
Daviess County Fiscal Court has been assisting the volunteer stations, paying for liability insurance, and subsidizing the bulk of the expense for fire engines. But a solution is needed for the future.
The court has had the foresight to look at how do we fix this shortfall. So they have looked at ways to help improve that without having a huge impact on our taxpayers. So, that we are looking at this new way to implement that will have minimal impact, but yet increase the funding to our volunteer stations where they'll be able to afford to buy the new engines. We'll be able to keep them in new gear, new air packs, the things they have to respond in our community.
Fiscal Court is proposing a fee replacement plan. The membership dues would be removed from property tax bills and replaced with a 1.1% increase to the insurance premium license fee that would be restricted to fire service. For most, the fee would be similar to what they're paying now, around $30 per year.
And the reality is most of these individuals would actually, some of them will actually see a decrease from the dues portion, and some will see a break even, and some will see a very slight increase. And this is something that we believe for the average citizen, there will be a very low impact on them. And while at the same time addressing the needs that we have.
Charlie Castlen is the Daviess County Judge Executive. He says the plan more fairly allocates funding for fire protection. Currently in the dues system, there's not a huge difference between what a large commercial entity is paying versus a single-family homeowner. Under this plan, the additional revenue to sustain the volunteer system would come from these large businesses who require more resources to protect structures and facilities.
Any increase, and I think what we're looking at right now would be a 1.1% increase, and that would be effective July 1 of 2024. And by state law, it has to be voted on. I believe it's no later than the end of March. And then the insurance, Division of Insurance or whatever with the state level gets that information out to the insurance carriers across the Commonwealth to let them know, hey, this is a new rate structure in Daviess County, Kentucky.
Judge Castlen says he's made a promise to the volunteer chiefs that if this plan is approved, their funding will be adequate with the potential for growth as the license fee is a percentage.
We have let them know that we will support them financially to the point of it no less than what they've been collecting from their dues process. And so those who are meeting their needs already through the dues process will have their needs met, and those who are perhaps have struggled in the past, that additional funding will be able to support them as it's needed and not be a drain on the general fund.
Volunteer stations would keep their identity, remaining incorporated, separate, and preserved. The only difference for them would be receiving a check from fiscal court instead of the sheriff. Castlen says he's hopeful the volunteer departments and the community at large will support the replacement plan.
We have protection across the county, and I think it's important that we take steps to make sure that we don't allow our system to flounder. And I would encourage all citizens of Daviess County to embrace what we're proposing.